Hello, my dear students. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the class with respect to income tax overview. Let's begin the class today. So, you know this, the tax law paper is going to be a paper number 4 in the module 1. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the class today. Today, let's discuss about the income tax, that is an overview of income tax. So today what you're going to discuss, we will be discussing with respect to a introduction part of income tax. So welcome back. I'm Apurva. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a company secretary and I've done my diploma in IFRS UK. And teaching is my passion since I'm into teaching field since 2015 and I am also a partner in a firm too. So this is my brief introduction. With this, let's start the class today. Okay. You have in paper number 4 that is in tax laws. This tax laws has got two bifurcation. The first bifurcation is with respect to direct taxes and the second bifurcation is with respect to indirect taxes. And the marks allotted to both direct taxes as well as an indirect taxes is going to be 50 marks and IDT is also going to be 50 marks. And overall, it's going to be for the 50 marks, it is going to be equal weightage. Next part. So this paper number 4, and it is in the which module? Module number 1. It is an MCQ based. And it is not a descriptive, it is going to be MCQ based. Let's have an overview of the subject now. My part is going to be direct taxes and the indirect tax part is going to be handled by Miss Raksha ma'am. Let us start. Now, what is going to be the revenue to the government? The revenue of the government is divided into two parts, meaning the source of revenue to the government is going to be two parts. The first part is from the taxes and the second part is going to be from the profits of public sector undertaking. The revenue, most of the revenue, majority, 98% of the revenue of the government constitutes taxes. Hardly 2% constitutes profits from the public sector undertakings. So what is the use of this taxes? How the government is going to utilize, for what purpose the government is going to utilize this taxes? These taxes are utilized for the purpose of defense and for the purpose of providing education and for the purpose of providing free healthcare and for the infrastructure facilities. These in total are called as social overhead expenditure. To whom? To the government. That's why taxes are going to be the one of the sources of income to the government. Okay, next part. These taxes are divided into two parts. The first part is nothing but direct taxes, and the second part is nothing but indirect taxes. Now, let's understand the difference between what is direct tax and what is an indirect tax. Let us conclude with the topic of direct taxes with an example. Mr. Abhi is an individual. He is in employment with Wipro Limited. There is an employer and employee relationship. For providing the services, Abhi has provided the services to Wipro Limited in the course of his employment. That's why he in return, he will receive a salary. The incidence to pay the tax as arisen due to his employment. On the salary income, what he has received, on this he will be paying in taxes. So, burden to pay a tax. Burden to pay a tax is on whom? It is on Mr. Abhi. When incidence to pay a tax and burden to pay a tax is on the same person. It is on the same person. Who is that? In our case, it is going to be Abhi. Incidence to pay a tax and burden to pay a tax is on the same person. Then it is called as an direct taxes. The incidence to pay a tax cannot be shifted to another person in case of indirect taxes. These direct taxes are levied on the income of the person. Hope you understood this point. Next concept is IDT. The name itself suggests indirect taxes. These taxes are levied on the goods and services part. Take an example. Now, Mr. Abhi goes to a restaurant. When he goes to a restaurant, he'll have order of food and he gets the food. In that food, what happens? He will get a bill amount first for the value of the food. For that, they are going to add GST and what you are going to get ultimately, it is the value of the bill or the total of the bill. The incidence to pay a tax is on the hotelier, and the incidence to pay a tax is on the hotelier. And he collects the tax from whom? He collects the tax from Mr. Abhi. Incidence is on the hotel and the burden to pay a tax is on whom? It is on Abhi. When the incidence to pay a tax is on one person and the burden to pay a tax is on another person, this constitute our another concept, IDT. When the incidence to pay a tax, when it is shifted to another person, it is called as an IDT. So what is the difference between DT and IDT? Incidence to pay a tax can be shifted under IDT. The incidence to pay tax cannot be shifted under direct taxes. Hope you're clear with the concept. Next one. Let's cover this DT part now. Direct taxes. Direct taxes includes three parts. It's an inclusive. One is going to be an income tax, and the second thing is going to be an gift tax, and the third thing is going to be an wealth tax. At present, in the budget 2016, wealth tax has been withdrawn. So you have only two direct taxes. One is going to be income tax, and the next thing is going to be a gift tax. So we will be concentrating on income tax and as well as on gift tax. Actually, gift tax has been combined with the one of the head of income, that's going to be income from other sources. Hope it is clear. Now, you should also understand an authority. Who is an authority now to levy and taxes? There should be an authority. Without an authority, you cannot levy and taxes. For this, what you're supposed to do, you should refer an Constitution of India. The authority is given under the Constitution of India under Article 246. By virtue of 7th schedule to Article 246, the Parliament as well as the state legislature has gotten power to levy and collect the taxes. Now, this 7th schedule to Article 246 has got three lists. The first list is called as an union list, and the second list is called as an state list, and the third list is called as an concurrent list. Under the union list, who has gotten power? Under the union list, a parliament has gotten power to levy a taxes on the in the items provided in the union list. Under the state list, who has gotten power? It is in state legislature. A state legislature has gotten power to levy a taxes to the items mentioned in the state list. Under the concurrent list, both parliament as well as in state legislature has power to levy a taxes to the items mentioned in the concurrent list. Next, now who has got an authority to levy an income tax? For this, you should understand. For this, we will be going to list 1 of 7th schedule to Article 246 of Indian Constitution. What it says that Parliament has an power to levy and collect taxes, levy and collect taxes with respect to income of the person other than agricultural income. I'm stressing on all the small points, all the minute points also. Why? Because you people will be answering in the MCQ format. That's why all the minute details are also very important. So let's recap. So what is the list number? The list number is going to be 1. Which schedule? It's going to be 7th schedule. What is the article number? Article number is going to be 246. Why are 246? Who has gotten power? The parliament has gotten power to do what? To levy and collect the taxes on the income of a person other than what? Other than agricultural income. So hope you understood. The authority lies with whom? The authority lies with the parliament. It is nothing but the income tax levy is in the union list. Hope it is clear. Next one. So there are some pillars of income tax. What are the pillars of income tax? You can also call it as an overview, or you can also call it as an components of income tax. A components of income tax. A components of income tax constitutes 5 portions. It has been divided into 5 portions. The first one is called as an Income Tax Act. The second portion is called as an Income Tax Rules. And the third portion is called as an Finance Act. And the fourth portion is called as an Circulars or Notifications. And the fifth portion is called as an Decided Case Laws. So there are 5 components. The first portion is called as an Income Tax Act. The second is going to be Income Tax Rules. Next is in Finance Act. Fourth one is in Circulars or Notification. Next is going to be in Decided Case Laws. Let's understand these components one by one, because it's going to be very important for the purpose of studying the advanced portion. Income Tax Act. The act we are going to study is an Income Tax Act, which has been drafted in 1961. That's why it is an Income Tax Act 1961. It came into force on 1st of April 1962. It applies to whole of India. It has got 298 sections. And how many schedules? It has got 14 schedules. Please remember this. Income Tax Act, the act we are going to study is going to be Income Tax Act 1961. It came into force on 1st of April 1962. It applies to whole of India. Very important, whole of India. How many sections are there? There are 298 sections. How many schedules are there? There are 14 schedules. Income Tax Act tells us that what are the things to be taxed? What are the items to be taxed? Next, after this, we'll go to income tax rules. Income tax rules, second component. There should be one person to administer the income tax. The person who is going to administer the income tax, administration of income tax, is done by Cbdt. The full form of Cbdt is Central Board of Direct Taxes. Very important MCQ question. Cbdt. What they will do, time to time, they will issue a rules. This rules, time to time, they will issue what? They will issue rules. This rules collectively known as an income tax rules. The rules which is applicable to us is going to be Income Tax Rules 1960. Hope it is clear. Let's understand now. Income tax rules are issued by whom? Cbdt. Time to time, they issue rules. Collectively, these rules are known as Income Tax Rules 1962. So we have an Income Tax Act 1961 and we have an Income Tax Rules 1962. The full form of CBDT. What is the full form of CBDT? The full form of CBDT is going to be Central Board of Direct Taxes. Very important, and it's going to be an MCQ question. One more MCQ question over here. It came into force when Income Tax Act 14/1961 2. But which is the act applicable? The act was drafted in 1961. That's why it is going to be when Income Tax Act 1961. Next, rules which you're going to study is what? It's going to be Income Tax Rules 1962. Now, what is the difference between this act and rules? Income Tax Act only specifies how to tax. Income tax rules tells us how to tax this. In the rules, we are going to study how to tax the items which are specified in the Income Tax Act. That's the difference between an Income Tax Act, Income Tax rules. The rate of the Income Tax Act tells you that as per section 32, the depreciation is going to be charged on the depreciable assets. What is a percentage, how to tax it, all these things will be given where? Will be given in the Income Tax rules. Now, let's go to the other point. Next is going to be Finance Act 1962. In this Finance Act 1962, what happens in the Finance Act 1962? In the Finance Act, it's Finance Act. Every year in the budget session, our finance minister presents an bill. This bill is called as a finance bill. When this bill is presented, it has to get its approval by both the government. It is going to be by the both the houses. When this bill is presented and it is accepted by both the houses, it should go to a president for the assent. When the president gives the assent of this, it becomes then Finance Act of that year. So the Finance Act which we are going to study is in Finance Act 2020. So there is a budget which is going to be presented on the 1st of February 2021, and for us that is not important at all. Why? Because we are going to study for the examination previous year. That's going to be previous year 2020-21. What the budget they are going to announce, it's going to be for the financial year 21-22. So that's not important. So Finance Act is presented by whom? The finance bill first, it will be presented by the finance minister during the budget session. And when he gets an approval of both the houses, and after that, when he gets an assent of the president, it becomes a Finance Act of the respective year. So for our attempt, the Finance Act which is going to applicable is going to be Finance Act 2020. Please remember that when you buy any book also, you are supposed to buy a book with respect to Finance Act 2020. Hope it is clear. Next one. Circulars and notification. What is the difference between this circulars and notifications? This circulars, for the clarification, for any of the clarification given by the whom? Cbdt, for in circulars. Any of the circulars, any of the circulars which is given by the Cbdt. Why does the Cbdt issues in circulars? When there is a clarification with respect to any of the provision of law, it issues in circulars. These circulars are binding on the income tax department. Next one, notifications. when there is any alteration or there is a modification, addition, deletion to an existing provisions of law, the central government issues a notification. Now, after the notification, once it has been published in the official gazette, it is applicable to all of India. This notification is binding on both assessee as well as an income tax department. So, hope it is clear. The circulars are issued by whom? Cbdt, and it is binding on whom? It is binding only on the department, that is an income tax department. Next one. So notifications are issued by the central government. It is binding on whom? It is binding on both assessee as well as in department. Next, decided case laws. There are many circumstances where the department is also not clear with respect to income tax provision, and assessee has his own view with respect to the provision of income tax. That time, what we will do, we'll go to the court of law. So if it is in state, it is going to be in the high court. When you're going for an appeal, it's going to be for the Supreme Court. So what happens? Many a times there were different views which has been taken in a high court, and the different views which has been taken in the Supreme Court. So what happens when the different view has been taken? You're supposed to follow in Supreme. In our country, Supreme Court is an apex. So what are the decisions given by the Supreme Court that should be followed? Hope it is clear. So there are 5 components. The first component is going to be an what? Income Tax Act. The second component is going to be income tax rules. A third component is going to be Finance Act, and the fourth component is going to be circular and notification, and the fifth component is going to be dash. It is going to be an decided case laws. Hope you understood this. Okay. If you have any other doubts, you can unmute yourself or you can chat. You can chat in live box. I'm going to answer those. Then, okay. Next one. Now you can ask me a question. Ma'am, I agree that if you are going to tell something about the Companies Act, yes, I'm going to agree. We as a company secretaries, we are going to follow a Companies Act. My dear students, now the way the business is going to carry, the way the economy has been changed. You people are involved in the strategical decision making. So even a company secretary can practice in income tax. It's not only that a chartered accountant has to practice in income tax, even a company secretary can also practice in income tax. So how can I serve my clients as a company secretary? First thing, you can advise your client. That is going to be advisory services. So we people being in company secretaries are in a better position when it comes to an assume it is going to be a bonus issue. You know that when it's a bonus issue, the capital structure of the company is going to change. So what is the tax impact? When it is in buyback, what is the tax impact? So we people are going to advise the clients with respect to this. And one more thing, you can also represent your client in front of an income tax department. You can give an representative services. Next one, you can also give an advisory services, representative services, and you can also give an compliance services. What is this? You can guide your client or you can advise your client with respect to advance rulings, transfer pricings, etc. These are the services where a CS can help the clients. Next one. So let me repeat what are the things which we have discussed today. First thing we learned is difference between the direct taxes and the indirect taxes. The next part what we have learned is going to be the who has got an authority to levy an income tax. The third part what we have studied is components of income tax. Next part what we have studied is what are the roles an company secretary can play with respect to income tax. Next, let me share with you how we are going to plan our future classes, or it's going to be live classes for the purpose of completion of the portions in an easy and effective way. First, you have 10 chapters. This is the index of the direct taxes. We have 10 chapters. The first 3 chapters are considered as in basics. The first 3 chapters are considered as in basics. The next 3 chapters, sorry, the first 3 chapters are considered as in basics, and the next chapter, fourth chapter, it is going to be computation of income under the various heads. This computation of income under the various heads, this constitutes around 40% of your syllabus. Next, fifth, sixth, and seventh, it is going fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. These 4 chapters are considered as very important, and it constitutes a 70% of your marks in the examination. Next is going to be the classification incidence on companies, that is in corporate taxation. And the last 2 things, it is going to be an assessment procedure. We call this as an assessment procedure. Next, the first 3 chapters are very important. Why? These chapters are going to give you an overall view, or first 3 chapters is going to lay a base of income tax. First, you're supposed to study this. When you're thorough with this, then go for the next chapter, that's going to be 4. So as I told you, chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7 constitutes 70% of your marks. Next 15% of your marks is from assessment procedure. The leftover 15 marks is going to be from chapter 1, 2, 3, and 8. This is the index of the income tax with respect to a company secretary course, that is an executive level. So study an income tax with a structured form. We have also left in direct tax simplified. So once the class is going to start, we are going to issue a material also, income tax simplified, this to the students who are attending the live classes, or the people who are purchased, you're going to purchase in recorded video class also. That's going to be pre-recorded class also. With the direct tax material, what we are going to issue with the video classes, I guess you're going to get an very good knowledge with respect to income tax. So I'm going to end the session for the day. If you have any doubts, clarification, there will be a number which has been displaying in the description box. You can call that number, and you can, if you have any other clarifications with respect to income tax video classes, or it's going to be with respect to live classes, you can contact them. They can fill the Google forms, and the executive is going to call you very soon. Thank you. Let's see you in the next class.